And we are live. Welcome back with Murphy Mac to another episode of the Fitness Beginner Podcast, where we help you get started on your fitness journey. What is up, folks? Hope y'all having a great day today. Hope y'all starting your week off right and y'all getting off your goals. Speaking of goals, y'all know, if you've been listening, that I tend to do one big goal every year, one big challenge, one big fitness goal. Let's see. There we go. Sorry, I was getting some reverb there. All right. So yeah, I have one big goal every year that I do, one big fitness challenge that I do. Y'all heard me talk about it a lot. I know I talk about it a lot, but I do that because I can use stories to relate it back to y'all's fitness journey as well. So y'all have heard me talk about the Ironman, the bodybuilding show, the ultra marathon. Well, this year my goal. Well, besides January, so January I did do the 1,000,000 steps in 30 days. So I did that. That was a challenge that I did to start the year off. But that wasn't like my big challenge for the year that I'm gonna do. That one big race that I'm gonna train for. But I finally decided what I'm gonna do. I went back and forth between a few different things to try to find something that worked with my schedule. And the few things that I wanted to do kind of fell through. I talked about a high rocks a couple times, and none of the high rocks really worked well in my schedule. They actually did just drop one for the end of the year in December in Nashville, and I may still try to do that one. I want to try to do that one, but it's so far away I can't really plan for it now. It's hard because the tickets sell out so fast for those that you don't really know if you can do it or not. So I'm not gonna like start training for it now and not really know. But I am gonna try to do that. But that's not the one I'm talking about today. So today, the challenge I'm talking about that I finally decided what I'm gonna do, and one that works out for me, is I'm doing what they call a backyard ultra, or you may also have heard it called a last man standing. So it kind of started out as a backyard ultra. Now some people call it last man standing, and y'all will see why in just a minute. But I'm gonna tell y'all everything about this race, how it works, kind of the structure of it, how it came about, how I'm gonna train for it, and then of course how it relates back to you and your fitness journey. Because for being honest, like all these preps, races, journeys, they're all kind of the same. They all work the same way, as same as your fitness journey as well. So you can still get lessons and learn from them and relate it back to you. So that's why I like to kind of explain how I'm going about it, so then y'all can use that in your own fitness journey as well, and it should help you. But yeah, if you're not a big runner, you've probably never heard of this. You probably never heard of a backyard ultra. Honestly, I've never heard of one until about a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago. I heard it. It's pretty new. It's a pretty new style of training, and we're gonna get into everything about it. How it's. Sorry, I know I lost my spot. Yeah, we're gonna get into about what a backyard ultra really is, where it came from, how people train and they compete for it, what my personal training looks like for this, because my training is actually going to start tomorrow. So I'm filming this on Sunday, March 22nd. My training plan is going to start March 23rd tomorrow. I'm going to start training for this very slowly. But most importantly, how the backyard ultra can apply in your fitness journey as well. Because even if you never ran an ultra marathon or a marathon or any kind of race, the lessons from this kind of race, they're valuable, and you can use those in your own journey, life, or whatever you're trying to relate it back to. So first and foremost, what is a backyard ultra? So we're gonna define it. A backyard ultra is not your typical race at all. It's kind of a pretty cool and pretty different race structure, in my opinion. And the reason is because there's no set distance. There's no finish line. There's no, like in a traditional sense, there's no finish line. There's no set distance to the race. And technically, there's only one finisher. One person technically only finishes this race. And that one finisher is the winner, obviously. Everybody else does what they call a DNF. So DNF stands for did not finish, or does not finish, whatever. Did not finish, I think it is. So everyone else DNFs. There's only one finisher, one winner. I know you're like, what the heck? How does that work? Well, what you do is you run a 4.167 miles. So 4.167. I just rounded up to 4.2 or just 4. But it's 4.167. I'll tell you why. It's a loop, and you do that every hour on the hour. So every single hour, it restarts, and you have to do that same loop over again for the next hour. That's it. That's the whole race. You have 1 hour to complete the loop. If you finish early, you get to rest. If you finish late, then you lose. You're out. If you don't finish within the hour, you're done. Your race is over. If you finish in 59 minutes, then you're good to go, but you only got 1 minute until you start again. So you can run it as fast or as slow as you want to, but you have to make it in before that 1 hour mark. If you don't finish within that 1 hour, then you DNF. You lose. So that's it. That's the whole race. But, at the top of the next hour, you start again. Like you do that same loop again. And you do that again and again and again until you can't do it no more. Until you physically have to stop. Until you or you don't physically have to stop, but until you quit or until you don't make it within that hour, you keep going. And the last person standing, the last person to complete a loop is the winner. And they're technically the only finisher. So that's why some people call it last man standing. Some people call it that. Everyone else, they DNF. They did not finish. So it's not about speed. It's a little bit different than most races. Like marathons, you're going out there for speed. You're trying to run it fast. 5Ks, things like that. You're trying to run it fast. It's about speed. Well, this race is not about speed at all. It's about endurance. It's about consistency. It's about mental toughness. It's about your ability to keep showing up when things get hard. It's about not quitting. Not, when things is hard, are you going to quit? Are you going to lay down? Are you going to give in? So that's what this race is about. It's about it's basically about like who's mentally the toughest. Because at some point, like everybody's body's going to be hurting. But it's going to be the person that's mentally strong enough to keep going, to keep pushing. They're the one that's going to, end up taking the win. So that's why it's so fascinating. Like this is a cool race. It's a cool idea because it's so much different than any other race. There's no finish line. There's no set distance. There's no, it's not like a typical race. You just go until everybody quits, basically, until one person is left standing. So how did this race style or this format come about? Well, it came from a guy named Gary Cantrell, I think is how you say his name, also known as Lazarus Lake. I guess that's like his nickname or something. So if that name sounds familiar, it's because he is the same guy that created the Barkley Marathons. So if you never heard of the Barkley Marathons, it is quite literally one of the hardest races in the world to complete. They do it once a year, and I think they have maybe one finisher every year, maybe two. Some years they have 0 finishers. I'm not going to get into everything about the Barkley Marathons. You'll have to look it up because that's a whole nother episode in itself. But the Barkley Marathons is super hard. You run through the woods. You don't know the route. There is no route. You have to figure it out as you go. It's a long story. I'm not going to get into that. But these are super, super famous marathons. Like if you're into running, you've probably heard of these. It's an ultra marathon, but it's super hard. It's quite literally considered one of the hardest races in the world. But the same guy that does these Barkley Marathons is the same guy that created this Backyard Ultra. So the first official Backyard Ultra was called the Big Dogs Backyard Ultra. I'm not really sure where it was at, but that was the name of it. And the idea was simple, but it was brutal. How far can you go? And if you're forced to keep starting over every hour, like who can keep going? Who can get back up there and do it again? That's the idea. Like who's the last person to quit? It's basically all it is. So there's no really pacing strategy where you burn out early. There's no sprint to the finish. It's all about just who can survive, who can go the longest, who can not quit. So there's some strategies to compete in this race. So this is kind of where it gets interesting because pacing is everything. You got to pace yourself. Pacing. Like I said, it's not fast. It's not a sprint to the finish. It's not about who finishes first. So if you go out too early, if you go too hard, then that's going to bite you in the butt later on in the race. You're probably going to be done if you go out too early because you're going to use all your energy up. Most runners will actually run slower than their normal pace. I may be wrong when I say this, but I think most people run them in about 48 to 50 minutes. That's about how fast I think most people kind of run them. But people that have different strategies. Some people run faster so they can rest longer. Some people run slower so they can conserve energy. So there's a good balance. You got to find a balance in what works for you. So I think most people around that, 48 to 50 minute mark, maybe even 45 to 50 minute mark. Because the goal isn't to win the loop. That's not the goal. The goal is just to keep going. See who can step back up there the next loop and do it again. the goal is to still be there, 24 hours later. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all. The reason the loop is 4.167 miles, the reason that's the loop is because if you use that number and you do it by 24 hours, so that's 24 loops, the 24th loop is 100 miles. So 100 miles equals 24 hours, which equals 1 day. So that's why the distance is 4.167. Just in case y'all are wondering. I know that's a random number, and y'all probably like, what does that mean? It's because that distance times 24 hours in 1 day, that is 100 miles. So at the 1 day mark, you'll hit your 100-mile mark. So that's why that's the distance. So you got to learn to master the reset. Every hour, there is a reset. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. The first one was pacing. Pacing is everything. The reason this is important to you in your life, in your fitness journey, is because pacing in your fitness journey is very important, because you don't want to go all out. First 2 weeks, you're going to get burned out. You're going to quit, and you're not going to keep going. You're going to end up quitting. So if you quit, then you're going to lose the race, just like in this ultra marathon. So that brings us to number 2, and that's the reset. You got to master the reset. Every hour, there is a reset in the race. So think about your day. Every day, there's a reset in your life. So you got to learn how to refuel right. You got to learn how to hydrate right. You got to learn how to sit down, but not too long. And you got to mentally regroup. The race is basically run, recover, repeat, and do that over and again every hour. Same thing in your fitness journey. You got to learn how to, refuel your body, hydrate your body. You got to learn when to rest, when not to rest. You got to learn how to mentally push through on the days you don't want to go to the gym, the days you don't want to work out, the days you don't want to, eat the healthy food. You got to learn to, mentally regroup around that. And then number 3, you got to dial in your nutrition early. So if you mess up your nutrition, you're probably not going to notice it right away. But when you get 10, 15, 20 hours in a race, then you're going to notice it. Because you got to prepare, like nutrition in a race like these, you got to prepare ahead of time. You can't wait until you're hungry or wait until you need the food. By that time, it's too late, because it takes your body time to digest it. Same thing with your fitness journey. You got to get your nutrition right from day one. Like, honestly, you ain't got to go to the gym. Like, get your nutrition right before you ever even go to the gym, because you can see progress. You can lose weight way before you even stepping foot in the gym if you get your nutrition right. So dial that in early from the get-go, and it's going to help you a lot when it comes to your fitness journey. I promise. I did this wrong. I went to the gym and just worked out as hard as I possibly could, but I wasn't feeding my diet. I wasn't feeding my body properly, so I never saw any results because I wasn't getting enough protein and wasn't getting enough calories in for my body. So it kind of held me back for a long time. So go ahead and do this from the get-go. Get your nutrition right first, in my opinion. So yeah, that's number 3. Number 4, you got is the mental game is more important than the physical game, especially in this race. So at a certain point, everyone is physically capable. If you're signing up for a race like this, you're probably physically capable. And I think most of us are way more physically capable than we realize. Your body is very, very capable. You'll be surprised at what your body can do. Like, I promise you, your body can go a lot harder and a lot farther than you realize. The reason you don't know is because you've never really pushed your body past that limit. Unless you're somebody that's crazy like me and you've done, ultra marathons and Ironmans and things like that. And that's the reason I do those things, is to see what I'm capable of, is to push my body beyond those limits to see what I'm really capable of. Because honestly, if you'd have told me I was going to run 100 miles last year, I would have told you were crazy, because I didn't think I could do that. But now I've done it, and I've seen what my body's capable of, and it just makes me realize, hey, you can do a lot more than you realize. You just got to really push yourself. Like, physically, your body can keep going. The body is a machine. It can go hard, I promise. Where people give up, where people quit, is their mental game. They mentally check out. They mentally quit. Their body didn't physically give up. They checked out mentally. So this is important, especially in this race. Especially in this race, doing the same loop over and over and over again, you're going to get bored. So you got to be able to handle boredom. You got to be able to handle discomfort, because your body is going to be hurting. Don't get me wrong. Your body can keep going, but you're going to hurt. Like, my legs are going to be hurting during this race. That's a given. Like, that's going to happen. But that don't mean my legs are going to give out. Like, they can still go. They're going to hurt, but they can still go. And then it's about who can keep going when everything in your body, in your mind, is telling you to stop. Who can keep going? That's why mental game in this kind of race is so huge, because you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and you literally go until somebody quits. So this is literally a mental game. It's like, who's the last person to say, I'm done? That's who wins. Same goes with your fitness journey as well. Like, you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to be able to show up every single day with the intensity that you want to. But I promise you, if you just be consistent over time, you will see results. You will see progress. You just got to, show up and do it. Yeah, you're going to physically be hurting. You're going to be physically sore. You're going to be physically tired. But if you can win the mental side of it and do it just over and over and over again for years to come, then you will see that progress. So mental game is huge. Number 5, you got to have a system. So the best runners in this race are going to treat every loop the same. So same pace, same fueling strategy, same routine. That way there's no thinking. You just execute. You don't have to think. You take all the thinking out, all the thought process, take it out, and just execute, especially in a race like this. Because especially when you get deep in the race, you're going to have a lot of brain fog. You're not going to be thinking very clearly. So the less you can think, the less obstacles you put in your way, the easier it is going to be for you. So same thing in your fitness journey. Have a system. Have your workout plan. Follow a training plan. Follow a meal plan. Meal prep. Like have a system. Know what time you're going to the gym. Take your clothes to the gym with you so you can go straight to work, or take your clothes to work with you so you can go straight to the gym. There's got to be a system around it. You got to build it into your routine. You got to build it into your schedule. You got to have it thought out ahead of time so you can take out all the thinking. There should be no thought process. Take it all out, and all you got to do is show up and execute because you already have it laid out. You know when you're going, you know what you're doing, you know what you're going to eat afterwards, you know what you're wearing, all that. Have a system. That's so important. It makes it so much easier. The less obstacles you can have in front of you, the easier it is for you to be able to do things, to complete things. So take all those barriers out, take the obstacles out, have you a system, and it's going to help you tremendously. I promise. So that's going to lead us to my training plan. So we're going to talk about what I'm doing personally to prepare for this. I told y'all my training plan is going to start tomorrow. So I'm starting very slow. And I've been running like 3 days a week, 5 miles or so at a time. But this one, I'm going to bump it up to 6 days a week. And I know that's a big bump. Like, don't go from 3 to 6. I wouldn't advise you to do this. But what I'm doing is I'm going to actually lower my mileage down for each training session. So weekly, I'm getting about the same miles. It's just going to be spread out over 6 days instead of 3 days. But, so yeah, like I'm going to go back to like 3 miles a run. But then that's obviously going to progressively get more and more and more. But I will tell y'all how I created this training plan, because I never trained for one of these. I didn't honestly have no idea how to train for it. I still don't know the perfect way of training for it. But what I did, I'll tell y'all a little hack, and I've talked about this before, is I used ChatGPT. I literally used it to create my training plan. And then obviously I tweaked it a little bit. Like I didn't use exactly what they gave me. I took that as a base, and then I tweaked it to fit my schedule and stuff. But yeah. And y'all can do this too. I highly recommend doing this. Dude, you can create some super good training plans online with AI. Like really good. Like it's almost like it's crazy to see how good it is. And you can put all your data in, and it can tailor it specifically to you. Like, and get as specific as possible. And then you can change it. That's a good thing about having the ChatGPT or whatever AI you use, is because you can change it. So like, say, you put something in 1 week and then next week your schedule changed. Well, you can tell it, hey, I can't work out on Tuesday anymore. We rearrange my workout to where I can do it on Wednesday. So it'll change it for you. And it's super easy to do. But yes, give it as much information about you as possible, what your goal is. It's like for me, I gave it the date of my race. I gave it, my age, my height, my gender, all that, my training experience, how far I've ran in the past, different races I've done in the past, how many days a week I want to train, my environment, like what the weather is like around here. Do I have any hills, flat, whatever? Like I gave it as much info as possible. I gave it my goal, what my goal for the race was, how many miles I wanted to do, how many hours I wanted to do, all that. Like I gave it as much information as possible, and then I told it, hey, generate me a training plan for this race on this day with all this information. And then also, the best thing you can do that I also did that helps a lot is you can ask the AI to give you a list of questions that it needs in order to make the best possible plan for you. So that's what I would do for you. Like say, hey, say you want to lose 20 pounds, just for example. Go to your AI, say, hey, my goal is to lose 20 pounds by this date, or 20 pounds in period. Say, ask me everything you need to know in order to create a training plan specifically tailored to me and my body. And it will give you a list. So literally just copy that list, paste it in there, answer all the questions, and hit enter, and then boom, it'll shoot you out a training plan using all that information that you just fed it. And it'll create a pretty good training plan. Now, obviously you can tweak it from there, which is what I did, but it's super easy. Like, you don't even have to hire a personal trainer or a coach anymore. Like, you don't need to, unless you need somebody to hold you accountable. If you're not very accountable, then yes, you need to hire a coach. If you're not accountable and you know you're not accountable, hire a coach. But if you're like me and you can just create a plan and you can follow it to a T, then I highly recommend using this, because to me it makes pretty good training plans. I've used it before. Super simple. And then you don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about your training plan. You don't think about when you're going to train, what day you're going to go, it'll even give you meal plans. Like, it'll tell you what to eat, when to eat it, like how many carbs to eat, how many electrolytes to drink. It'll tell you all that if you just ask it. It'll give you a list. So feed it as much information as you can, if you're comfortable with the AI or whatever. If you don't, then obviously don't use it. But yeah, that's what I did, and that's how I created my plan. So for this training plan, my goal is time on feet. It's not speed. So I'm not training for speed. There's nothing you need to, like, you don't really need to train for speed for a backyard ultra, because I just need to finish 4 miles within an hour. So my goal is time on feet. It's not speed. So I'm not chasing fast miles. I'm just chasing more miles. So long runs, back-to-back runs, and then learning how to run when I'm fatigued, like when I'm tired. That's kind of like my focus. Running on tired legs. That's a big thing. So back-to-back long runs. Instead of one super long run, like normally Saturday is my long run day. So I'll do back-to-back long runs. So Saturday and Sunday, I'll do a long run. So for example, say like if I did 15 miles on Saturday, I'll turn around and do, 8 to 10 miles on Sunday. So that way my legs are already tired, and then I do a pretty long run on top of the tired legs. This is going to train me for the race, to be able to learn to run when I'm tired, run when my legs are sore, to be able to run when my legs are a little beat up. This is going to train that. It's simulating running on those tired legs, because that's what's going to happen in the race. So that's a big focus during my training block. So Saturday and Sunday will be a lot of long runs. Also, on those weekends, I'm going to do race simulations. So this is a big one. This is literally practicing the actual race. So I'll be practicing running, the 4.2 mile loop every hour on the hour. I'll also be practicing my refueling strategy. Like when I come back in and I sit down, like practice that part of the race, because that way when I get into the race, I already know how to do it. I know what foods work for me. I know how to refuel. I know how long I can sit down without getting stiff, things like that. And I'll learn like the ins and outs of the race. So that way when it does come, I'll be ready for it, and I'll know like, what works, what don't work, what foods don't work, how long I can sit down, how long I can't, things like that. And then also I'm going to test my gear, test different foods, test different pacing strategies. So I'm going to play around with the different paces, see which ones I like best, see which ones that work best for my body. And it's basically just like a dress rehearsal day. Like when you practice for something, like it's the same thing. I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do that in my training. I'm not going to do it as long, obviously. There will be a lot shorter, maybe like 4 hours or 6 hours or 8 hours. I have several of them in my training plan. I think the highest one is up to 12 hours. So my longest training day will be 12 hours, which is crazy long, I know, but that's part of it. And that's 50 miles, in case you're wondering. 12 hours is 50 miles if you do the loops. So also I'm still going to be practicing my strength training. This is still important. You don't want to abandon the gym when you're running. Strength training is very important when you're running too. So I'm still going to focus on full body workouts 3 days a week. I'm going to try to stick to 3 days a week. That's what I've been doing. I'm going to try to stick to this as long as possible. Now, when I get up to those weeks where I'm getting a lot of miles in, I may have to dial my workouts back. I'm going to try not to if I can. But if my body's just completely destroyed, then yes, I will take days off training, like weightlifting, because it's more important for me to get my running in and to let my body recover than it is to do a lot of strength training during this period. So I'm going to keep it in as long as I can. And it may just be me still doing it 3 days a week, but toning my intensity way back, like doing a lot less weights, a lot less workouts. And that may be what it ends up being. But for now, I'm going to keep it the same as I've been doing. Hard workouts, 3 days a week, full body workouts. And this is going to be good for injury, like prevention. You don't want to let your muscles get weak. It's going to be good for my core, my stability, because this race is going to be up and down like hills. So there's going to be a lot of like trail running. So I need to make sure my stability and my core is good. And I just need to make sure I'm durable. Like I need to be able to last in a race like this, because durability is going to be everything when it comes to what I'm doing in this race. And then number 5, still mental training. This is one of the most important parts. I'm going to be putting my body in uncomfortable situations. I'm going to be doing some long solo runs. If you've ever ran some long runs by yourself, you know how hard that is. It's pretty hard being out there by yourself. I'm definitely going to be running on days when I don't feel like it. Those are tough. Waking up at 4 a.m., running 15 miles, and then turn around and going to church by 9 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, that's a pretty tough day. And I've done that a lot. So I'll be doing that definitely in this prep. And then really I'm just going to be practicing discipline over motivation, because I'm definitely not going to be motivated to get up and run every day, especially when I ran 6 days this week already. It's definitely going to be tired. So I got to practice that discipline. Got to practice that being consistent, because that's what the race is going to end up being. So I got to dial it in during my training, during my prep, so that I know I'm ready when it comes to race day. So with all that being said, how does this apply to you in your life and your fitness journey? So this is probably the most important part of this podcast. I told you I was going to bring it back to y'all so y'all can get something out of it. You might be listening to this and thinking, yeah, this is cool and all, but I'm never going to run a backyard ultra. Like I'm never going to do that. And that's fine. That's totally okay. I'm not recommending you do this. If you want to do it, hey, come run with me. We'll do it together. But the principles that you take from this is going to apply in what you do in your fitness journey. So number 1 is you don't need to be extreme. You need to be consistent. So a backyard ultra is literally, all it is super simple. You just got to show up every hour. Every single hour, you got to show up to run 4 miles. Pretty simple, right? Right. Well, in your fitness journey, same thing applies. You just need to show up every day. Every day, you got to show up. And the day that you quit, the day that you DNF, that's the day that you lose, that you're not successful in your fitness journey. So just show up every day. Pretty simple, right? That's how this applies. You don't need to be extreme. You ain't got to go super hard every day. You ain't got to run a marathon every day. You just need to be consistent over time. Not perfect, but consistent. Number 2, you got to pace yourself. Pacing matters. So most people, when they start the fitness journey, especially January 1st, they go all in for 2 weeks. They're going hard, gym 5 days a week, eating 1,000 calories a day. Like they're going all in. And guess what? They burn out. Guess what? They quit. That's it. They go too far in. So you got to be patient and you got to pace yourself. That's kind of the equivalent of, say I went out to the race and I sprinted the first lap. If I did that, I'm not going to make it very many loops if I sprinted, because I'm going to be exhausted. That's not the point of the race. The point is not to finish first. The point is to pace yourself and show up every day and finish every lap. Same thing in your fitness journey. Show up every day. You got to be sustainable and you got to build gradually. Build on that gradually. Number 3, you got to master the reset. So if you miss a workout, if you have a bad day of eating, who cares? It doesn't matter. That's one day. Guess what? You get a reset. Just like the race resets every hour, you get another loop tomorrow. You get to do it again tomorrow. You get to reset tomorrow. So you got to master that. Master the reset. Number 4, you got to have a system. You cannot rely on motivation, because motivation is not going to be there every day. It's not. Don't rely on it. You got to have a system. Motivation comes and goes. We all know this. This is obvious. But systems, they help you when that motivation is not there. So what are some systems? You can meal prep. You can have your workouts scheduled. You can have them already planned out. You can already know what exactly exercises you're going to do. You can know when you're going to go to the gym. You can know what you're going to wear to the gym. You can have your bag already packed and ready to go. This is what's going to keep you going. This is what's going to keep you consistent. Following the system. Take the thinking out of it. This way there's no thought process. You just do it. You just execute the plan, period. That's what keeps you going. And then number 5, it's more mental than you think. Yes, physical fitness, working out, a fitness journey, it's very physical. We all know that. But the mental side of it is just as important. And at some point, it stops being about, the perfect program, the perfect diet. It's going to come down to, can you keep showing up when it gets hard? That's what it's going to come down to. And that's just the mental side of it. Can you line back up for your next loop the next day? That's what it comes down to. It's pretty mental. So yeah, that's the Backyard Ultra. That's what I signed up for. A race that has no finish. I know that sounds crazy. Honestly, I have no clue how far I want to go. I will tell you my goal, and I'll be open and transparent about it. My goal is 100 miles, 24 hours. That's my goal. And I set that before I really started looking into these races, because I figured I've done 100 miles before, I figured, hey, I could do that again. But I've looked into these races, and the few that I've looked into, none of them have made it 100 miles. Now, I have seen a few of them go way beyond that. Like, I've seen a few of them go over like 250 miles. But the most ones I've seen, and the one that I'm specifically signing up for, it hasn't never went over 100 miles. So now I'm starting to think my goal was a little too far. Like, I don't know. I'm starting to think it's a little out there, and I was going to change my goal. And then I was like, you know what? No, I'm not changing my goal. My goal is still 100 miles. That's my goal. If I don't hit it, oh well. I'm going to try my best to hit it. That's my goal. The one thing I'm worried about is the race is August 29th. So if y'all know anything about Alabama in August, is it is hot, super hot, and it is humid. So that heat is going to wear down on me that day. I know it is. And I'm assuming that's why this race has never went 100 miles. It's got to be because of the heat. It's going to be so hard to push through 100 miles in the Alabama heat in August, if we're being honest. But that's my goal. I'm not changing it. That was my goal I set from the get-go, and I'm going to stick to it. So we'll see if we get there. That's the goal. We're going to try to hit 100 miles, 24 hours. Honestly, I don't care if I win. I'm not really worried about winning, because I know there's a lot of stronger runners out there than I am. I'm definitely not the strongest runner for sure, but we still going for 100. I know I have no idea how far I'm going to go, but that's kind of the point. I want to figure out how far I can go. I want to figure out how far I can push myself. It's not about knowing the outcome. It's about finding your limit and then pushing that limit. See if you can go past it. See if you can go beyond it. And my limit right now is 100 miles because I've done it, and I couldn't have went another mile because I was done. So that's my limit, and I'm going to push that limit on this race. So if you got value from this episode, I appreciate it. Share it with somebody who's on their fitness journey. Share it with somebody that may want to do a race like this. If you're chasing a goal right now, just remember, you don't have to finish the whole race. You don't have to sprint. You don't have to be the first person to finish. You just got to complete that next loop. Complete the loop, master the reset, show up again the next day, and that's what it's all about. The mental side of it is going to get you through. You can go a lot harder and a lot farther than you realize. You just got to believe in yourself a little bit, push your limits, and y'all got this. I promise. That's all I got for y'all today. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Share this episode with a friend. Like and subscribe. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever y'all listen at. I appreciate it. Leave a like, comment, whatever. All the things on social media, y'all do all those things. I appreciate it. Thank y'all for tuning in. Other than that, y'all have a great day. Y'all have a great week. Go get after your goals. And let's start this training block off tomorrow. Y'all wish me luck. Y'all have a great day. Peace, love, protein. We out.